We will scrap the phone tax. We're against it. We think it's the wrong thing to do, and we think there's a better way of funding broadband in the areas the market won't provide. Well, one of the first things that a new Conservative government will do will be to pass a bill in Parliament that opens up our national infrastructure to people who want to help lay a new broadband network. So that will be BT's pipes and ducts and telegraph poles, but also electricity company pylons, water mains, anywhere where you could potentially lay fibre optic cable to help deliver this next generation broadband. So it'll be one of the first things we do. We'll be trying to stimulate as much investment as possible. It's difficult to predict the timeframes by which this will be delivered, but if you think about what the last Conservative government achieved in the 1980s and 1990s with the cable and satellite revolutions, the lesson is that if you get the regulatory structure right, you can deliver a huge amount of investment from the private sector. Well, I'd like the majority of the population to be served by superfast broadband by the end of the next Parliament, and for us to be able to fill in the gaps by the end of the Parliament after that. But, you know, maybe we'll be able to do it more quickly than that. Maybe it'll take a little bit longer. But the most important thing is that you have the policies that are actually going to start this investment process, because according to some government estimates, the cost is going to be £29 billion. The government's policy is to rely on BT to deliver all this. That can't possibly happen. And so we need to find a way that stimulates investment from other people in the market. The charges are a very key part of getting this right, and they would be regulated charges that are set by Ofcom. They would have to be regulated charges, and so they would be set at a level that both stimulates investment by private sector suppliers, but also gives a reasonable return to the people whose physical infrastructure is being used. This is a huge opportunity for Britain. I mean, we have the largest independent television production sector in the world, we're the second largest music exporter in the world, third largest film market in the world. If we get this right, we could be selling our digital content all over the world, and it could be a massive creator of jobs for people in Britain. If we get it wrong, this opportunity is going to pass us by, and those industries are going to migrate to companies that have better infrastructure. Let me give you one example. I mean, we have one of the biggest advertising industries in the world. The advertising industry is sort of centered globally in New York and London. Now, interactive advertising is going to become a huge thing in the future as people start getting TV over the internet. If it's not possible to do that in the UK because our broadband speeds are simply too slow, then those ad agencies are going to think, do we want our global headquarters to be in London, or do we want them to be somewhere where actually the home market is where all the interesting new developments are happening?
Interestingly, you want to use some BBC licence fee money as part of your plans for digital broadband. Tell me how that would work.
Well, at the moment there's a levy on the licence fee to pay for digital switchover, the move from analogue to digital TV. And all we're saying is let's carry on with that levy to deal with the next move, which is the superfast broadband. The BBC accept this is a valid use of licence fee money because they're one of the hungriest users of bandwidth through the iPlayer, and one of their missions is to make sure that their services are available to the whole population, not just those who have a good broadband connection. So this seems to us a much more logical way to fund rural broadband than the government's proposal, which is a phone tax, a brand new tax on every phone line in the country, which will hurt businesses, it'll hurt consumers, and amazingly will actually may even put off 200,000 people from having a broadband connection at all.